Cliffside Outfitters. Just got back from Wilson's Creek, and fortunately we got a few fish to clean. Today was Kids Day, and you can check that out online at the North Carolina Wildlife. But we went up to Wilson's Creek. From 6 to 12 the children can fish the delayed harvest waters, and then after lunchtime the adults can join in and catch a few fish. And that's what me and Matthew done. About I don't know, 2 o'clock, 2:30, we went up and we fished a little bit and had a good time, caught a few fish. And we've got our fish, and I thought I'd clean these fish and I'd show you 2 methods we use. Now, one method's pretty much for adults. If you've got little guys in your party, then you probably want to fillet the fish. But we're going to scale, we're going to cut off the head, we're going to remove the entrails, deep fry in the pan, and you can just pick the meat right off the bone. But if you got some little guys with you, then you can fillet the fish. And if the fish, I would say, is under 12, 13 inches long, you don't have to worry about the pin bones. When you throw that in a deep fryer, those bones are going to disintegrate. And anyway, long story short, let me just show you the 2 methods. One for the adults, one for the children. I mean, you can even cut these fillets up into fish sticks. So either way, let's check out what we're going to do. All right, guys, I'm going to try to be quick. This little rainbow, he's probably between 12 and 13 inches. And I'm going to show you how to clean this fish. The first thing you need to do with these rainbows, if you'll look, when I start scraping on this fish, just take and scrape, take your knife, turn it 90 degrees to the skin, and you don't have to have multiple knives. You can take your fillet knife and you can just scrape the scales right off of them. And trout don't have a whole lot of scales. The rainbows have a whole lot more than the brooks. But we're going to scale this fish up. We remove all the scales and just work in between the fins and plumb back to the tail, plumb up to the gills, or the gill plate. Right here's the gill plate. But we're going to scale this fish, and when you're comfortable that you have all the scales off, I'm going to take and right at the top of the gill plate, right in here, I'm going to make an incision. I'm going to cut straight down through the backbone, just like that. And then I'm going to go right here at the vent of the fish, and I'm going to cut the vent out, and I'm going to sort of quickly snap through the back fin, that fin in the back. I'm sorry, I don't know exactly what it's called, but I'm going to snap through that fin, and I'm going to remove the vent. I'm going to take and I'm going to put my fillet knife in the opening right here, and I'm going to go right up the belly of this fish, just like that. Oops. Up here to about right there. Cut up right to the throat. And then I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to just grab his head, and I'm going to just pull, and the head and the entrails will all come out of the fish, and we're going to get rid of that. Now inside these trout, and I hope you can see this, let me see if I can tune in just a little bit. Inside these trout, there is I call it a bloodline. I can't tell you what the technical name is, but if you'll look, and I know it's sort of hard to see out here, it's getting late in the evening, but if you'll look, there's a line just right up against the spine. I like to take my thumb and just push that out, and it's basically just the blood from the fish. So you can see that I pushed that out, and we're a little cleaner than what we were a second ago. So we're going to push that out real good. And let me go up here and grab the hose. I'm going to spray this fish off and show you the results. Alright guys, so we went up there and we sprayed this fish out. And I want you to look, see, We've removed most of that bloodline. Now that fish is ready. We've scaled him. We've removed the anus. We've removed the head. He is ready to flyer and or bread, however you want to say it. Bread him up and throw him in the pan, and then you can just peel that delicate meat off that fish. So let's go to a fillet. Let's do a fillet on one, and I'll show you what'd be good for the children. All right, so we've got a small brook trout, and like I said, the light's waning, so I'm gonna try to be quick. With the brook trout, they're genetically they're different, but basically as far as filleting goes, rainbow brook, brown, they're all your salmonoids, all your members of the char family is gonna basically their bone structure's the same. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come right in behind the gill plate, and I'm gonna make an incision to his backbone, and then I'm gonna turn my knife and I'm gonna cut through the backbone. Actually, I'm not cutting through the backbone, I'm cutting through the ribs, and I'm gonna run that knife right down the side of that fish, staying right tight to the backbone, just like that right there. And I'm gonna flip it over. If you'll notice, I didn't cut the skin off of the tail. I left a little bit of skin attached to the tail. And that's going to allow me to come in here and fillet the meat of that fish right off the bone. Now let's get that piece out of the way. So if you'll look, all that we have is fresh fish fillet right there, and then we've got these ribs that we cut through. You take your knife, come right in behind those ribs. This will be a little tricky, but you peel the ribs out of that fillet. It's a little tricky, but you can do it. And I know that my hands is getting in the way, but I've peeled the rib cage out of the fillet, and all that's left, let's throw it away, is a strip of meat. Now there is some very tiny pin bones. If this was a larger fish, I would take tweezers and probably pull those pin bones. But this fish is so small, when you cook it, those pin bones are pretty much going to disintegrate. And you basically have a boneless fillet of fish, big plate of French fries, maybe some baked beans, coleslaw. The kids can enjoy, and they don't have to worry about choking on bones. The sun's setting on us, so I'm gonna wrap this thing up. We got the whole trout ready for the pan. We got the fillets, and you don't have to worry about the bones. That's the two methods we use here at Cliffside Outfitters. We appreciate you watching the videos, and if you hadn't had a chance, like and subscribe. Until next time, y'all have a